Exhuma is a 2024 South Korean supernatural horror film written and directed by Jang Jae-hyun and starring Choi Min-sik, Kim Go-yoon, Yoo Hae-jin, and Lee Do-hyun. The film includes mystery and occult elements and follows the process of excavating an ominous grave, which unleashes dreadful consequences buried underneath. At first, in a scene, we can see Hwa Rim whistling near a child. The child is a newborn baby and it hasn't stopped crying since its birth. Despite being a part of a wealthy Korean-American family, the family is unable to find the reason of this condition. When doctors are failed to find any cause, the child's father asks for the help of Hwa Rim, a shaman. Hwa Rim visits the hospital and whistles near the child. According to Chinese and Korean beliefs, whistling at night will attract wandering ghosts who will follow you home. The scene represents her attempt to connect with and assess the presence of any supernatural entity. In another scene, we can see Hwa Rim calling herself Yin and Yang. It is a symbol which represents the state of balance between two things. Hwa Rim calls herself Yin and Yang, between light and darkness, which means she is a balance between two worlds, the human world and the spiritual world. She has a connection between the both, which makes her different from a normal human being. In some other scenes, we can see her communicating with her grandmother, who protects her. Also, she can feel the presence of other supernatural beings or spirits. In this scene, we can see Sang Deok, a Geomancer, talking about the location of a grave and the 5 elements being in perfect harmony. In Korean culture, burying people at places where all 5 elements are in perfect harmony is a concept deeply rooted in traditional beliefs, particularly those influenced by Geomancy, which is the Korean version of feng shui. This practice involves selecting burial sites based on the harmony and balance of the 5 elements: wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. A site where the 5 elements are in perfect harmony is believed to positively influence the health, prosperity, and success of the deceased's family. This practice is based on the idea that the energy from a harmonious site can affect the living descendants. While visiting the burial site, Hwa Rim and the Geomancer see some foxes near the site. The presence of foxes near a grave is considered a bad omen in Korean culture because they might dig up the grave in search of food. In Korean culture, digging up a grave could disturb the ancestor laying in the grave and can cause a bad omen. Some viewers couldn't understand this scene, where a grave digger notices a strange snake-like thing in the dirt and kills it without giving a second thought. The thing dies with a loud shriek and clouds start gathering on the sky and take the form of a storm. That snake-like creature is called Nirona. A Nirona is a creature from Japanese folklore often depicted as a snake woman with long hair. In Japanese culture, encountering a Nirona is generally considered a bad omen. Nirona symbolizes water element, which was necessary to find balance on an elemental scale, as the other 4 elements were already present at the cemetery. Ki-ing Nirona resulted in the disruption of that balance. The location of grandfather's grave was suggested by a Japanese monk named Jisun, who was most likely a reincarnation of the Japanese fox spirit known as Kitsune. Jisun is portrayed as a powerful and malevolent inhuman spirit with considerable abilities, holding the title of Onmyoji, which is similar to Geomancer or Feng Shui Master. Kitsune tried to paralyze the nation of Korea by installing metal rods in specific locations across Korea to disrupt the natural flow of the land's energy. This act weakened Korea's overall strength, energy, prosperity, and fortune. Jisun wanted to ensure that the metal rods blocking Korea's energy flow would not be removed. So he chose a precisely calculated location for this purpose, and instead of installing the metal rod directly in the ground, he inserted it inside the body of a Japanese general who had killed over 10,000 men. In this way, he created a demon and made him the vessel for the rod as well as a guardian to protect the location of the rod. His grave was also buried in vertical position to act as the rod, and over this grave, He made parks to bury their grandfather's grave because the burial site of powerful figures would be well protected from grave robbers. Jisun promised them this burial was a good site for their grandfather. Instead, his grandfather's spirit stayed restless in the grave and kept tormenting his family members. That's why, when the grandfather's coffin was opened, his spirit escaped the coffin and started killing his own family members. In this scene, the demon warrior tries to kill Bong-gil, but he survives, but Bong-gil becomes a hostage to that demon warrior and becomes his servant. So in the last part of the movie, when Hwa Rim and her crew sets out to kill the demon and find that iron rod, her two lady friends stay with Bong-gil at the hospital and protects his room in order to keep him safe from the demon and bring a chicken with them to sacrifice in place of Bong-gil to protect him if the things go south. During the Japanese occupation of Korea, there were some Korean people who betrayed their country and fellow countrymen and swore loyalty to Japan for power, privilege, and wealth. Grandfather sold out Korea and in exchange received wealth, power, and position of great influence. This is the shameful family secret the Parks didn't want to reveal. That's why they settled abroad and never visited the grandfather's grave. A scene where Park Ji-young is possessed by his grandfather's spirit involves him saluting towards the window of a hotel. This act symbolizes the grandfather's loyalty to the Japanese Empire during the colonial period, reflecting historical themes in the movie. Hope you loved the video. Subscribe my channel for more such content and don't forget to like this video.